Chapter 1. Where there are many women, there's often scandal, especially when the competition is about who's the most beautiful. It rarely ends well. Even goddesses couldn't avoid conflict when they quarreled over a golden apple inscribed, "For the fairest." Zeus refused to settle their dispute and sent them to Paris, who gave the prize to Aphrodite in exchange for the love of the most beautiful mortal woman. That choice, as you know, led to the Trojan War. So, I don't get involved in beauty contests. I just do my job. My thoughts were racing as my hands worked mechanically, picking up stockings, lingerie, and other feminine things scattered around the chairs. I worked in Chicago's House of Fashion, and let me tell you, models can be incredibly messy. They would toss their clothes in the middle of the room without a second thought. Before I worked at Herman Goodman's fashion house, the world of high fashion seemed glamorous and magical from afar. Beautiful women, luxurious dresses, exquisite perfumes. In reality, it was anything but. Without makeup, many of these models looked rather ordinary, and some even had serious drinking or drug problems. Behind the scenes, the competition was cutthroat, sabotage was common, and razor blades hidden. And shoes weren't even the worst of it. My official title was office manager, but in truth, I was just a cleaner. At 35, it felt too late to start over. I had always been unlucky. Since childhood, in fact. I never knew my mother. She left shortly after I was born, overwhelmed by the demands of motherhood. My father, a janitor, raised me alone until Raquel, my stepmother, arrived. A large, messy woman who made excellent pancakes. She wasn't cruel unless she was drunk, which, fortunately, didn't happen too often. When I was 6, I learned to avoid Raquel when her eyes glittered with that dangerous light. I would slip out and hide at the bakery, where the kind ladies offered me sweet rolls and candy. Life didn't get any easier after my father left. Raquel, despite her flaws, worked tirelessly as a cleaner, holding down 4 jobs to keep us afloat. Oddly enough, things improved without my father's drinking habits draining our resources. I was smart, though. That was my one advantage. School came easily, and soon, I was helping a classmate named Tammy Clark with her assignments. Tammy's wealthy parents took me under their wing, treating me like family, and introducing me to a love of reading, especially classic detective stories by Agatha Christie and Rex Stout. Years later, after the tragic death of Tammy's parents in a car crash, life turned harsh again. We lost everything, our home, their wealth, and were left to survive on our own. Now I work hard just to get by, taking on any job that comes my way. I was cleaning late one night at the fashion house when I met Faith, a young woman lost and confused, wandering the streets in nothing but a nightgown. She had no memory of who she was or where she came from. I couldn't just leave her there. I took her home, and with Tammy's help, we tried to piece together her shattered memories. But things took a dark turn when bodies began to surface, drawing us into a dangerous mystery that could cost us everything. Chapter 2. Everything suddenly clicked into place. The poor girl must be ill, most likely mentally. "You're in Chicago," I said softly. "On Sonia Street. The metro's not far from here. Where do you need to go?" "I don't know," the woman muttered. "I don't know, but thank you." I nodded and began walking forward, but then something urged me to turn back. The girl stood by the wall, shivering with cold. Damn, I couldn't leave her like this. What if something worse happened to her, like being assaulted or killed, although there was nothing to take from her. No necklace, no rings, no purse. I turned around and walked back to the poor thing. "Where do you live?" I asked. "I don't know." She smiled faintly. "Probably at home." "Do you know your address?" "No." "How did you get here?" The girl shrugged. "I don't remember." "Where do you live then? Doesn't anything come to mind?" I repeated the question. The poor thing tensed up. "No." I looked at her with pity. She was so young, yet look at her. We might not have much, but we were sane. And here was this awful situation. Now what? Leave her on the street? No way. I couldn't let that happen. She'd be dead in no time. Call the police? It would take me ages, and Tammy would probably have a heart attack waiting by the door. No choice. Let's go, I said, taking the girl's frail, thin hand. The poor thing obeyed, limping behind me. I looked at her feet and noticed that she was wearing simple rubber slippers, the kind many people use at home. She probably lived nearby, but Sonia Street is long, lined with tall buildings. We would go to my place, let her rest overnight, and in the morning I'd call the authorities. Tammy opened the door almost immediately. Did you panic again sitting by the door?